What's up, guys, and welcome back to another market forecast video. And just like we did last week, today we're also going to break down three instruments just like that. So last week we talked about gold, we talked about NASDAQ, and we did for Euro USD, and all of them played out just like I predicted or forecasted, right? And so this week I'm going to do same. I'm going to forecast my direction, what I think will be my direction for the upcoming trading week, right? And so yeah, before we delve into it, I would like you to hit the subscribe button if you're not subscribed yet, because I'll be doing this each and every other week, right? So do well to subscribe and turn on post notifications so that you don't miss out on other future important videos. Apart from that, please leave a like and a comment also in the comment section. Okay, so quickly let us jump onto the chart and let's see what we have for the upcoming trading week. Welcome back to the chat, guys. So real quick, I'll be starting with gold, and I'll be showing you a quick snippet of whatever we talked about last week on the left side of the screen, right? And another thing is, because we looked at the higher time frame structure last week, that was weekly and daily. I'm not going to go into weekly and daily, but real quick, I'm going to start from what, H4, right? We're going to start from H4, and I'm going to show you what I'm seeing. Okay, so last week we were looking at this levels of supply in here for price to come into, right? Then we can have that push to the downside, but we can see that clearly price didn't come into this level of supply, right? But then we made that push to the downside, breaking this level of structure, right? So H4 was bearish, and then real quick we had H4 breaking this last point of supply, right? So we can say that H4 has switched from a bearish one to a bullish one, right? So H4 BOS, really nice, right? So H4 BOS to the upside. Now, because we know that H4 has made a break of structure to the upside, we are aware that we are working within this leg, right? And so real quick, you're going to mark your demand zone on H4 like this. And again, we are going to see if price will make any, or if price will give us any intention to start a retracement to the downside. Okay, so in case we step into the intraday time frames and we see that price has made any intention to start a retracement, then we're going to capitalize on it. So real quick, let us look at this intraday time frame and let's see what price is doing, right? So right here on 15-minute time frame, we can see that price made a break of structure here on 15-minute, and we had the last point taken out. So 15-minute is bearish right now, so that is the change of intent, right? For me on gold, that's the change of intent. So I'm going to show that real quick. Change of intent to the downside. Great. So what I will be expecting is for price to make at least a little pullback into this level of supply right in here, right? Then we can start riding on the counter trend move into this level of H4 demand. Okay, but another thing here that has to do with the H4 demand that I'm looking at, right? In as much as we are looking at this level as an H4 demand to continue with the push to the upside, there is something that I need to show you on the weekly time frame, right? So here on the weekly time frame, you're going to see this. You can see that I've already circled this already. Like, we have all these lows in here, right? And I mean, they've sort of built some equal lows in here, right? So that's liquidity, right? Liquidity to the downside. Sorry with that. So that's liquidity to the downside, and there will be a higher tendency, or there's a higher tendency that price may come down, and instead of respecting this level of demand, we will have a breach of it. But then all the same, we need to just react of what price is showing us currently. So currently, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to wait for price to make a retracement into certain levels of M15. Then we can capitalize on the move into this level of demand. If we get into this level of demand and price shows any intent to start a bull move, why not? We're going to capitalize on that too, right? So that's what I am looking at on gold. Okay, so real quick, let us step into NASDAQ and let's see what NASDAQ is doing. So NASDAQ, so the same thing right in here. I'm not gonna go into higher time frames, right? Because we already talked about what the higher time frame is looking like already, right? From last week. And so real quick, I'm going to be showing you a snippet of what we also discussed last week on the screens. Okay, so already last week we looked at this level in here as our daily level of supply. We had some kind of daily inducement in here, and we've had a push to the downside on the daily leg, right? So we know that daily we are bearish on NASDAQ, right? However, internal structure H4, we are making higher highs and higher lows, right? So this is my last H4 high that was created, right? Not this high, okay? And the reason is because this high did not take out this high, so it is not valid to be the H4 high, right? So this whole leg in here that you see is the H4, right? So H4 is bullish, and we have this zones in here as our last point of H4 demand, okay? But then we can see that this demand zone is almost on our way to this target liquidity of the daily that we are looking at price to get to. So what can we say about this price action? We can have a situation where price will come into this level of demand of H4, right? Show us an intention that the H4 still wants to continue, it bulls to the upside, and we're going to have price pulling away to take out this daily last point of supply, right? We can have that. Another thing that we can also have is price may continue trickling down, right? We may have this H4 breakout structure, and probably price will make, if it wants to make a deeper retracement, we might have a deeper retracement and a continuation. If not a deeper retracement, you might have probably an intraday retracement, right? And then a continuation to take out the target liquidity of this structural point, right? So real quick, let's step into the 15-minute time frame or my intraday time frames, and let's see. So here on the 15-minute time frame, we can see that already price has shown that intent to move to the downside, right? So this was the last point of 15-minute demand, right? That made a push to the upside. Asian high got taken after this shallow retracement like this. We had that Asian high taken out, and we've had a breakout structure. So that's a change of intent for me on intraday basis, right? So what can I expect? I can expect price to make a retracement into these levels, and then what we're going to continue to move to the downside, riding on that retracement leg into H4 demand. Okay, another thing that we can also have is we might have price not making a deeper retracement, but then reacting off just this 5-minute structural levels, and then we're going to pull down. But then having it at the back of your mind that if price does something like this, then this whole leg will be one leg, right? We're going to have this as one leg, and there will be a higher tendency that price will come back like this before continuing the move to the downside. Okay, so let's pay attention. So currently, with regards to what price is presenting to us, we can have either a deeper retracement and continue with a H4 retracement leg, right? Or we might have that shallow retracement in line with M5, right? And then we can have that pull down to that H4 demand. And in as much as I'm looking for that retracement, I'm not saying that price can't take out this high. Okay, price can do that. We can have price coming back up to take out this high. Okay, and if it does that, we're gonna have like a change of intent, and probably the price may react off certain levels, and then we're gonna continue to move to the upside. But then, like I always say, whatever price is presenting to you, right? Just that I'm giving you the other possible scenarios that might happen, but then focusing on what price has presented to us, what I'll be looking at is this levels in here, and we might have price come in and then we ride on the retracement, like I said. Okay, so that is what I will also be looking at on NASDAQ. And to my last pair, which is Euro USD. Okay, so here on Euro USD, there is something that I also want to show you right in here on Euro USD. So from last week, we've defined this H4 break of structure already, and we've defined this H4 demand zone already, and we can see that price is what tapping into this H4 demand, right? So it means that we have this H4 target liquidity to grab, okay? And in as much as we are looking at this H4 target liquidity to grab, there is something on the H1 that I want to show you, okay? So if I come to the H1, you can see that price was making what? Higher highs, higher lows, and then we had this higher high, and price came back down and took out this low. So currently H1 is bearish with this whole leg, right? H1 is bearish with that whole leg. So it tells us that this is our last point of what H1 supply. It means that in as much as we are looking at price to get to the top here, we can have price coming into this level of H1, right? And then what? Continuing with the bears to the downside, right? So that is what can happen in the first place. But the reason why I am confident that this H1 supply may not hold or may fail is the fact that, first of all, this high, like I said, is the H4 target liquidity. And we know that H4 is higher than H1. So we can have that bullish pressure from this H4 demand zone, taking out this last point of H1 supply, which is in confluence with the H4 target liquidity. Another reason is if I come to the 15-minute time frame, okay, within this whole H1 leg, we had M15 making what? Higher highs and higher lows, right? And real quick, we had a change of intent, which I predicted on Friday on my Telegram group, right? We had that change of intent. So now we can see that M15 is bullish, right? So M15 and H4 are aligning. However, H1 is bearish. So if M15 and H4 is bullish, why not? Yeah, we can have price retracing into certain levels, right? And then we have price pulling back up, right? So this small zone that you've seen that I've done in here is just a refined zone from M1, and I'm not going to go deeper into M1. Okay, so this is a zone that I'm looking at for price to kind of come into this M1 demand, and then we can have a confirmation to continue with the H4 bullish move. And the M15, like I said, M15 is bullish. So if we make that retracement in certain levels, we can ride all the way to the upside, looking to take out this H1 last point of supply, which is also in confluence with H4. Now, another thing that we can also have is we might not have that deeper retracement, but then we might have price reacting off these levels like this, right? And mind you, this is also one leg, right? So we might have price reacting off, and probably this supply zone of M5 may not be respected. You might have that break, and then price will continue with a move to the upside. Okay, by looking at what price is doing, we can have that tendency of price respecting this level of supply of M5 like this and pushing all the way down into these levels. Then we can take the move to the upside. Okay, so yeah, this is what I am looking at on these three pairs. Please do well to have a detailed look into these pairs before you try to place your trades on it, or before you try to take a trading decision. Okay, so this is where I'm going to end today's video. Do well to hit the like button, leave a comment in the comment section, and if you're not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications, because I'll be bringing out this market forecast videos every Sunday or every Saturday evening, depending on the time that I finish working on it, but it will always come before the market opens. So yeah, see you in another video next week.